And welcome to, sorry.
Hello.
Hi, and welcome to History is a Horror Show. I'm your host, Brittenstein.
And I am Abby Normal.
Abby Normal.
We'll get the hang of this eventually.
Yes.
Don't mind us.
We're just here.
Yeah.
We're
With our ghost tears that are gluten-free.
Yes.
Wait.
And it lights up.
Of course it does.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah.
Witches.
Today we're talking about witches. Black cats, flying broomsticks, pointy hats, and green skin covered in warts. Ugh. Every Halloween, we see them in movies, decorations, and costumes. But where did all the lore come from, Abby?
I don't know.
Why is the hat pointy? Riddle me this. Why cats? Well, it all boils down to, I'm sure you won't be entirely surprised, misogyny and fear of the unknown.
Wow. Let's be shocked for a second. Okay, I'm done.
You know, like most things with humans.
Uh-huh.
It's different. Oh no, we must kill it.
Everything. If you're different, it's wrong. Sorry to tell you.
We're great.
It's great.
Fantastic.
We would have been dead.
I love being here and alive.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Because you know, people fear what they don't understand. And when people get scared, they get stupid. They start making up stories, and all of these stories together are how we get the caricature of witches that we know today. And it is a wild broomstick ride. But oh God. Now, disclaimer. We are not historians. We are not professionals. We're just bitches who like to watch documentaries.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. It's where it ends.
If we're wrong, take it up with the documentary people. We did our best, okay? So the origins of witches, scholars believe that it came from ancient goddess cults. And it's something we should still be doing, but we're not.
No.
Because men, but...
Love you, honey.
So in the ancient world, many communities worshipped goddesses, and the wise women who served them were revered for their magical ability to enhance fertility, nurture the land, and care for the sick. And now we just get called names and yelled at.
Pretty much. How the times have just changed.
Oh, how the turntable.
Yes, Michael Scott.
So the goddess was an all-powerful divine force that was respected above all. Respected. Keyword. And a woman's cycle, her cycle, like Aunt Flo, you know? Like the thing that people are repulsed by.
Oh, that's disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't mention a tampon without people having an aneurysm. Yeah, anyway, it was treated with reverence and ritual. They treated them like queens. Something else we should bring back. I'm a big fan of that.
So what the hell happened to that? Where are we at with that now?
We're getting there. It's okay. That's coming. That is
okay.
You will understand completely when we're done.
Hey.
So harmony with nature and the community was overseen by the wise women who worshipped the goddess. Kings could not do anything without their counsel. Armies could not recover from defeat without their rituals. And no baby could be born without their presence. So, the masculine and the feminine, it was there. So before people go, well, you need men to defend you. Yeah, I know, we know. There's a masculine and a feminine in everybody and to everything. So the men would go out and they'd do their manning, they'd fight and stuff. And then they would come back and the women would help them recover. They would do rituals. They would do things to kind of help the men get back to their center.
And it's so funny to me because none of this stuff is found unless you actually research it. If you just this stuff isn't just mentioned. You know what I'm saying?
I never knew
it's never
any of this.
No. Interesting how it's just kind of pushed to the side unless you research it.
Yeah, so you had the man side and the testosterone. But then you also had the okay, now let's deal with your emotions.
Right.
Let's bring you back where you need to be so you're not crazy.
I just have a feeling it's just all going to go to crap here in a second. And we're going to figure out why I went from point A to point B. So go ahead and continue.
Oh, do you have ESPN?
Yeah.
Because that's rather good.
Typically how it goes. Typically how it goes. If it's going right, we just do something to screw it up, and that's the end of it. It's the world today. Go ahead.
So they were basically the doctors. So they would show up, and they'd make house calls. And this is really, really interesting. Because with their knowledge in herbalism, they cured illness, obviously, and did all the physical stuff. I am shaking the table. They cured illnesses and they did all the medical stuff. But they also removed impurities from the home, including words. They did like a talk therapy with the whole family.
What?
To banish evil words. So basically, if there was issues and everyone was fighting, having a bad time, she would come in and be like, all right, let's sit down and let's talk this out. Like you're supposed to do.
Oh my God. So many homes need this.
Yeah,
so many homes could benefit from this.
But no, therapy doesn't work. They were doing it 4,000 years ago.
Yeah, people. Take notes.
That was just, you read my mind. But somehow, no idea how. It's a mystery.
Yeah.
The wise woman and the divine feminine devolved into the nightmare of society. The witch. Practicing promiscuous sex, dancing naked under the full moon, and partaking in cannibalistic infanticide.
We just took a turn to the left, people. Hold the heck on. Back it up for a second.
From, let's talk about your feelings and treat your boo-boos, to eating babies.
Yeah, pretty much. We went from goddesses that are just beautiful and take care of people to now we're dancing naked under a full moon and partaking in eating babies. And
yeah. Just a hard left turn.
Kids completely. That's okay. All right.
Now, quite a leap. Wonder how we got there. Patriarchy. I'm so sorry. I had a bit of cough there. Excuse me.
Just face the facts here, guys.
The downfall of it all. Around 3000 BCE, other cultures they believed in a strong, aggressive male god.
And
of war.
there it is.
Oh, look at that. They believed in strong, aggressive male gods of war coming into contact with these goddess cults. And they were spooked. They didn't like it. None too pleased.
Well, that's just what we do. If we come in and, we say, that's not what we want, that's not what we believe in. Well, I shouldn't say we, I should say them. Just decided, we've had these goddesses? No.
Oh, God, you respect your women?
What? No.
Satan.
Pretty simple.
Yes.
Got it.
This is different, therefore the devil.
It's wrong. Yes.
You're like the water boy's mom.
Yeah.
Foosball is the devil.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's basically what these people were like. They came in and they were like, oh.
Yeah. It's like the easiest way to put it for people to understand, pretty much.
Yeah. She showed me her titties too, and I like those. So once these people decided that different meant evil, like we talked about, it was over. They were done. Bad time for everybody. Mm-hmm. And soon the idea of the earth goddess helping us live in harmony with the earth was overtaken by the idea of a sky god ruling down over us from above in a hierarchy filled with war and violence. Because that's better.
Ooh. We love that.
Yay! So this sky god ruled under a hierarchy maintained by war, power, and most importantly, submission.
Oh, best combination.
Can't work unless you shut up.
Yeah.
But many women, badasses, bosses, refuse to give up their
individuality.
Individuality.
You know what we're talking about. Come on.
Individuality. Or their knowledge. And the new bosses were not happy.
You basically just shut your mouths.
Yeah.
Keep quiet.
And over time, things we were once admired for, even worshipped for. We used to be worshipped, Abby.
Yeah. What's that? What's that?
I'm so sad I missed it.
I know. Where were we? Oh, wait.
I know.
We weren't even in the thought process.
I was robbed.
Pretty much we all were. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just funny to me is the fact that this information's out there, but it was never given to us unless you actually really look for it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. Just funny to me. Just yeah, hilarious. Haha.
You gotta laugh so you don't cry.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, it's not. It's not okay. Anyway, the things we were once worshipped for started to get twisted into something dark, something evil. I gotta find my place again. Hold on.
I just tapped my microphone. Sorry, guys. My bad. I'm okay. I'll make it through. This is making me sick. No,
oh, God, the patriarchy. So basically, anytime there was a problem in society, the dudes in charge started to try to pin it on the ladies. And witchcraft became the scapegoat of society for a long, long time.
Way too long.
Yep. I grew up evangelical, and it was Pokemon cards had demons in them. Horror movies. I was told that I was going to be possessed because demons lived in the horror movies. Yeah. And I was like, well, I've watched like 100 and you're
still
not
here.
Possessed,
no,
so...
you're still Brittany. That's interesting.
That was fun for a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
Great.
that's definitely. I've never heard of that before. That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So my mom, we sat watching scary movies all the time.
The first mention of witches ever was in the Bible. It was a long-ass time ago.
Yeah.
We've been doing this for a long, long time. He was actively, King Saul, that's who was doing it, was actively outlawing witchcraft, mind you. He was going around killing people for being witches, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like, this is bad. This is horrible.
This is against what we believe in.
Don't do it.
Yes.
Guess what he did? He's going through a rough patch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And instantly caved. And then he asked someone, hey, there's this lady called the Witch of Endor.
Oh, no.
If you could, like, bring her here.
No.
Bring her here for me. Because I'm real nervous about this battle. I think they're going to hurt me. And I want to know what's going to happen. Because my life's on the line now. I'm in the bad position.
Oh, how the turntables, Michael Scott. Isn't it so funny? It's so funny to me. It's not important until he's now pushed to the end. Now he needs us. And now who's the first person he goes to?
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing he's been saying. You don't need witches. Witches are bad. But I do, though, because I'm upset now. Hypocrisy? What?
No.
So anyway, he's getting ready to go into this battle. He's like, I need this. There's a woman with a familiar spirit, I think is how it's worded, which is a witch.
Yes, it's a sorcerer.
And he goes, so I need her to bring back the spirit of, which one was it? Because they all start with S's. Samuel, the prophet. I need you to bring him back from the dead. So we've gotten two steps. We're in the necromancy now.
So, ban all witchcraft, kill all the witches. I need one, and I also need you to bring somebody back from the dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
just making sure I'm like caught up with everything for a second.
He's like,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So she does the thing. She shows up. She conjures up Samuel, and he's like, "You gonna die, bro." That's basically what he said.
Basically, straight to the D. That's it.
Sorry you went through all this trouble, but you'll be dead tomorrow.
Yeah.
So maybe not outlaw witches before you. No. Okay.
Just a thought.
Since you're using one,
just think of it next time we come into this situation.
Thought maybe we could move forward, progress a bit, but no. Yeah. Okay. But the real problems started in the 14th century. That's when we really kicked it into high gear.
Yeah, pretty much.
For witches.
Yeah.
Because when the Black Plague overtook Europe, 1 in 3 people died. Which is, could you imagine?
No, that would legitimately be like my neighbor's dying.
Yeah.
And just in
one
little
person
area.
in your house. Yeah. So I get why they were scared. We like to make fun of people back then for being superstitious and crazy. But
they didn't really see this kind of stuff we do now. They didn't see. This was new to them. This was what the hell is going on? The world's going to burn.
So here's my other thing about people in the past. Yes, they're funny to make fun of, but imagine, I go outside now, knowing what I know, with electric lights and everything, and I'm a little baby back bitch.
Yep. Best way to put it. Yep.
I'm looking up the stairs behind me, waiting for the demon to grab my ankles.
Oh, yeah. Oh, when I walk downstairs, turn off the light, if I have to go down in the basement, I run.
Same.
Dash up the stairs. I don't know what's going to get me, but I know there's something probably behind me, so I run.
And then I get to the top, and I try to act cool.
Yeah, and I'm
and I'm just sorry.
Yeah, everything's fine. No, reality, I was fighting for my life 5 seconds ago with a mysterious fake minted ghost I just made up in my mind.
I was
but it's
5
fine.
again. Yeah. The worst is when the steps have the hollow spot.
Oh no, I don't.
And then
that.
I just imagine a hand.
Yes, reaching out and grabbing
ankles.
your hand. Yeah. Oh, grabbing your ankle. Yeah, no.
Yeah. So I live in the 21st century. I know everything that I know, and I'm still what?
Heck no.
What was that?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run for my life,
pretty much.
But imagine these people lived in little villages in the middle of the friggin' woods.
Everybody starts dying.
And then at night, you can't leave your candles on because your house will burn down. So you look outside and it's just pitch black. I still look outside and imagine the rake's face is looking at me, even though I know better. So you can't blame them. I get it. Did a lot of shitty things, though, because of it. If we could have not done that part, that'd have been great.
I think the biggest downfall, I mean, we all still do it today. When something goes wrong, we have to have an explanation of why. Like, you know, there always has to be a reason. Well, this happened because of this. Like, it's not, they couldn't just sit there and say, and everybody's getting sick. Oh no, this Black Plague is here, and it has to be for some bigger reason that it's here.
Oh yeah, humanity's been a fun ride. I think it might be almost over.
Yeah,
we'll see. Sure not. So anyway, understandably, people panicked. It was bad times. But panic soon turned into hysteria.
Mm-hmm.
Also, fun fact, do you know where the word hysteria comes from?
No.
It has something to do with women, of course, and their uteruses. Yeah, so people used to believe that a woman's uterus was like free roaming, and it just like bounced around.
Yeah, no, mine doesn't. I can tell you that right now.
And they were like, "Oh, her uterus must be in her brain right now, and it's making her a little crazy."
Okay, all right.
And then it became just like the blanket term, like, "Oh, you have depression, silly uterus."
Silly uterus up in your brain right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to balance your humors so that your uterus goes back to its rightful place.
Makes sense.
How are we still alive? I'll never know. But they didn't have an understanding of germs, like you said before.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't like, oh, there's this bacteria that I touched, went into my immune system, and now I've got this. Maybe wear a mask. Maybe get a vaccination.
No, they have a better answer for it all. Let me tell you.
It has to be Beelzebub. Or gas, vapors.
Yeah.
They thought it was some supernatural something. And they assumed that the plague was the result of some great evil. Perhaps the devil himself.
Makes sense. Like, that's what I'm saying. Back to the whole, there has to be an explanation to everything. The explanation legitimately was just that there was a bacteria going around and people got sick, and we did not have the stuff we have today, so they literally had no chance. No, it was the devil.
No, it's the woman's fault.
The devil.
That darn uterus.
Yes.
They went out and summoned the devil.
Son of a gun.
God dang it. So the church started churching, doing its thing, and established a tribunal known as the Inquisition. Now I say the, I enunciate that part because there were several. We did this a lot because we're a
stand-up people.
Yeah, we're just a ball of cherries. That's not a saying, but that's what I said.
So we're gonna make it one now.
A barrel of laughs. That's one that was actually real.
That one we can, yes.
That one's real.
Yes. That one I will back up. I know that one.
Thanks. To root out all religious heretics. Now, what's a religious heretic? Anybody who does anything that they don't love.
Basically anything that they don't believe in.
And women, something that men have never understood, became like numero uno. So they were looking at us and they were like, just look at them.
Mm-hmm.
They're different.
They're dead. They need to die.
Why do they have feelings? That's gotta be witchcraft.
It's the only explanation for it, honestly.
And as with any hysteria, obviously, the only rational thing to do is to control the thing they fear and make sense of it, or eradicate it. Which usually results in a bunch of insane stories, weaving in any coincidences and any mental leaps you can possibly manage to get a hold of.
Pretty much.
Well, just think about like today. Like, we live in a pretty country area.
This is true.
Have you heard like the insane folk tales? Like I had a dream about you, so now you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna have a baby.
Yes, our mother-in-law does that. Shout out Lynette. Yes.
Well, but listen, to her credit,
she did have a dream I was pregnant. I was actually, so
yes.
I think there might be a little witch living inside of her somewhere.
When I had Jackson, right before I got pregnant, I found out in February. This was in December. A bird got in our house. And I call up our mother-in-law, and I was like, a bird got in the house, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, someone's going to die or someone's going to be born. And I'm like, all right, Glenda.
Yeah.
Chill out.
And
then she was like, no, I'm telling you. And I was like, all right, cool. I've heard a million of your tales before. It's fine. And then in February, I did get pregnant. And I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so like, similar kind of story. We had just moved into our other house, and I felt like I was talking to Jacob's mom. We were up at their house, And she looked at me and she was like, I had a dream last night that you got pregnant. And I looked at her, I said, no, when I we stopped trying, we're not having, and I crap you not. 2 weeks later, took a pregnancy test, and I called her. She's like, yeah, I already knew I had that dream. I was like, you're crazy. I don't like this.
Same thing happened. I mean, I like to be a skeptic, but I keep an open mind because weird things do happen.
Yeah.
But the point I was trying to make before we deduce that witches are real. So people have these superstitions and these folk tales, and they just get weaved in and out of each other. And then you have all of this stuff that people believe in.
Yeah.
And when you don't have the internet or information and education to kind
It's
of
so easy to believe it,
cut through it and kind of separate the reality from the, crazy stuff, it gets out of hand real fast.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. You ever wondered why black cats are associated with Halloween and why people kill them on Halloween, which I'm not a fan of those people, don't like you.
They kill cats?
Black cats, especially on Halloween night. There's like whole campaigns to try and like protect black cats and stuff.
They're
People
freaking
suck.
cats. What are they gonna do?
Bad luck. They're gonna.
Okay. Well,
this is gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Where it all started. Why people are dicks to cats when they don't deserve it. Cats are our
they
friends.
Don't. We like cats.
I love cats. They're so great. So anyway, Pope Gregory, the Ivy. What is Ivy? I think it's
the fourth.
4. Is it 4?
Yeah, because V is just 5, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, the 4th. I went to public school, so you can tell. Pope Gregory the 4th releases his first papal bull, which is like an official document informing the public of legislation by the Pope, called the Vox and Rama. So basically, this is like, I have made a decision for all of you.
Oh, okay.
Here's what it is.
Okay.
Have fun with this. Nothing you can do about it, but here you go.
Great.
So this Vox and Rama was in response to rumors of satanic cults in Germany. And the Grand Inquisitor, Conrad of Marburg, had come back to the Pope and said, listen, bro, I found all this shit. You're not going to believe it.
Great.
And we need to kill people because I'm scared.
Because that's the solution to it all.
And the Vox and Rama is wild. You want me to read some?
Yes. Yes.
Prepare yourselves.
Oh,
okay.
God.
The bull describes... Oh, wait. That's not the part yet. The bull describes in detail... I was getting into character.
She was.
And everything.
She was ready for it, but it wasn't there yet. So now we're going to be there. It's okay.
I'll be even more ready when it happens. So the bull describes in detail. The initiate is first approached by a mysterious toad as large as a dog. So a toad the size of a dog.
Honey, I don't
First
remember.
approaches you and is like, hello, sir. Are you interested in the devil?
What's the evidence of this? Like, where did this actually...
Conrad said so.
Okay. Well, then it must be true.
He said people told him this.
Okay.
And he's a good boy.
Okay.
Anyway, now I'm going to read. Shortly afterward, an emaciated, pale man will appear, whom the initiate will kiss, and thereby forget all memory of the Catholic faith.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You know, I look back at the way they thought about things, and I'm like, why? Why? Could you imagine if somebody like went to like freaking Biden right now and was like, listen, we need to start killing everybody because there is a toad as big as a dog. And there's a guy that's going to appear and he's going to start kissing people. And they're going to forget everything. Like, can you imagine that these days? Like, what the heck is this?
They'd be like, sure, honey.
Okay. Now we're going to go check you into a pretty hospital.
Come into this room with me. Put on this gown. It'll be okay.
Just okay. Whatever.
A pale man kissed me and I forgot about Jesus.
Yeah. Can you... Somebody call somebody for help.
Yeah. After you meet the giant toad and you kiss the skinny dude.
Just forget all about Jesus. Go ahead.
Forget all about it. You are a shell, a husk, ready to accept Satan.
Yes.
Members of the sect would then meet for a meal. And when the meal ended, so that's the only normal part of this. Is that they ate some food.
They ate some food. That's about as normal as it gets with this. Got it.
And then after the meal, everyone arises, and the statue of a black cat would come to life. And then it's walking backwards with its tail erect. So its butthole out.
Okay. All right.
Backwards towards you.
Yes.
And then the new initiate, and then the master of the sect, would kiss the cat on the buttocks.
Oh, hell no. No, you lost me. You lost me. No.
Back that thing up.
Yeah. Why? So he just walks in and just says, like, I heard this is happening. And he was like, oh, that has to be true. People have to be kissing a cat's ass.
He's like, you won't believe what I found out.
They are people.
Giant toads. People are kissing cat asses.
What the heck is going on?
And the cat didn't rip them to shreds. It
Yeah.
has to be magic. Once the ritual was completed and everyone's kissed the anus,
I love that.
all the candles in the room would be extinguished and it would be really dark. And then it's time for the orgies.
Oh, dear God. We're all right. We're going for it. All right.
He had an imagination. I'll give him that much.
I mean, I'll tell you what. He could have wrote a friggin' book.
I wish he would have.
Yes.
Fiction
Yes.
instead.
Yes. Yes.
But instead, we killed a bunch of people. And this is why the arts is important, kids.
So we killed people off of examples like this.
Some crazy person was like, I saw a giant toad and then I kissed a cat's ass. And
Let
he was
me
like, then this is a problem.
Let me explain something. If I was a female back then and the guy came to me and he was like, listen, you're going to be put to death. Like, we saw you kissing a cat's butt. Like, we know that the toad came to visit you and you got, I would have been like, get the hell away from me. What are you talking about? Like, what?
And then they would have killed you even harder.
I know. I never would have survived back then.
Oh, she's insolent.
Let me just put that out there now. I would have had no chance.
Oh, absolutely not.
No.
So once the candles are relit and everyone can see again, a man from a dark corner of the room comes forth from the loins. God. So he's walking hips first.
Okay. Just all right. Just put it all out there. Here I come, guys.
Like, hello, ladies.
Yes.
Loins upward, which I'm assuming he has a happy friend.
Okay.
So not only is he walking hips first, he's got a little buddy.
He's quite honestly walking first as well.
Mhm.
Got it.
Yes. With all of his legs.
Yes.
Not only is it upward, it's shining like the sun.
He should get that checked. Because that's not normal.
His lower part is shaggy like a cat. So it's gleaming like the sun. It's shaggy like a cat.
It's a great image.
Yeah.
It's a great image.
Don't you? This is sexy. I like it. And after a brief dialogue between the cat and the cult members, because the cat's still there.
He's there through this whole thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Has like, he does like a little speech like, do you promise to blah, 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 blah.
The cat talks?
Yeah, the cat talks.
Oh.
Yep. And then that seals your bond with Satan.
Okay.
And we did legislation. We made laws based on this.
Wow.
Fun times.
Wow.
Fun times. So, cat talks to you, gives you the what for, and then the meeting ends. And because of that, black cats are villainized for the rest of time. This Vox and Rama is released, and people go crazy. They're like, have you seen this shit?
Well, would you? If I get something, I'm going to be like, what the hell is going on? I thought people were sick. What is this?
Oh my gosh.
This is before. Okay.
This is about 100 years before, but this kind of sets up the
Stepping
lore.
stones for whenever the plague ends.
Yes. So this brings all this into common knowledge. And then people go, well, do you remember the Vox and Rama? The devil loves black cats.
Yes.
After it's released, everyone goes nuts, and they are convinced that black cats are minions of Satan and are luring unsuspecting young women to the dark side. So they decide to get rid of as many cats as humanly possible. Can't risk it.
We can't risk people kissing cats' asses behind our backs.
Unfortunately, there is a massive cat banishment, and people are horrible about this. But cats got the last laugh because 100 years later, they get hit with the plague. Now, Abby, what brought the plague to Europe? Do you remember?
I do not remember.
The rats.
Oh, yeah, the rats. And because they killed all of the cats,
Mm-hmm.
there was nothing to kill the rats.
Yeah. They were just like, hey, Little birdie told me cats are evil. We should kill them all. Okay, cool. And then the rats come in and go, hey, suckers. And then they kill them
Karma's
all.
up.
Uh-huh. So if they would have had all the cats around, they still would have had the plague.
Not as bad, though.
It would have been mitigated a lot
Mhm.
better.
Mhm.
But nope. We chose superstition over common sense. And then they all died.
And the plague came, and they said, let's choose superstition one more time.
Yeah, this worked last time. We're doing great.
We're doing it again. Let's go for it one more time. Let's see what happens.
This has never failed us. So during the Inquisition, they used inquisitors, which were basically like, go forth and enact my laws, and like witch hunters, basically, right? Soon it became a full-fledged career path. You just had bros hustling out there, man. Because they decided, hey, you know what a great idea is? A great idea, we should pay people. If they find a witch, we give them money. And that'll motivate them to find witches.
Oh, yeah, that'll really motivate them.
It will motivate them to lie. They're not, no.
Okay.
This won't corrupt the system at all. Yeah, so they were like, if we pay these people for every witch they bring us, this will be a squeaky clean.
Listen,
situation.
I am 100% against the witch trials and all of that. But back then, times were hard.
Mm-hmm.
I probably would have pulled forward like 6 or 7 people and been like, here, I got signed. There's something telling me. Here you go. Where's my money? Rub me it.
Let's say you're a witch hunter. You're just a bro trying to get out there and get your bag, right?
Mhm.
So, how do you know? How do you know what to do? Like, how do you find the witches? Where do you get your information?
A book.
From books.
A book?
Yeah.
Duh.
And these 2 dudes said, I have just the right idea for this. We are the men for the job. They write the Malleus Maleficarum, which is also called Hammer of Witches. That's not ominous at all. And it's got some fun ideas.
Off the charts type of shit. Yeah.
And yep, Jacob Springer and Heinrich Kramer decided to write this book. And they didn't like ladies that much. They were not fans.
Let me be shocked. Okay, I'm done.
So the Malleus Maleficarum taught that women were sexually vulnerable beings and easy prey for the devil. The devil's telling me I need it. Come on. So anyway, from this book, here's an excerpt from it. You ready? Let me get into character again. What else is a woman but a foe to friendship? They are evil, lecherous, vain, and lustful. All witchcraft comes from carnal lust, which is in women insatiable. So this was the final nail in the coffin for women. So we already had a target on our backs. It already wasn't a great time for us. But then these guys come out and go, see, women are sexy, therefore evil. We're just like...
Makes sense. Now, put it together. Creates a whole story. Creates an entire book, actually. Why? Well, why? Why would we do that?
But there's more. There's even more fun tidbits.
Right.
So one of the main instructions was never ask a witch, are you a witch? Ask them,
I've heard that before.
when did you become a witch?
Mm-hmm.
Basically, don't give them a chance to deny it.
Yeah.
You just scramble their brains until they
When did you become
fall
a
for
witch?
it. Yeah. Thanks to this book, it was no longer just the old widowed or single women. Because before it was like, you're living without a man, how are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Seems suspicious to me. And old, cranky, you have a lot of cats.
Well, that's I read
that
too,
kind of
a
thing.
lot of older women too. They were healers,
Mhm.
which I thought that was so funny to me. These women were literally healers for people, would go and heal people. And because they were so good at their jobs, you're a witch. Thank you for saving my entire thank you for saving my entire family, but you're a witch because you did your job. You heal people. So if you were good at your job, you were screwed.
Oh yeah.
So basically your best option back then would have been to not come out of your house and just keep your head down, not talk to anybody. Even then, they probably still would have found you're weird, you don't come out of your house, so therefore you're a witch.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Pretty much.
So now they've covered all the bases. If you were a woman in general, you're probably going to get accused of being a witch. Oh my God. Fills me with rage.
Yes, pretty much. It's irritating, but it's always something.
But guess what? You think this book was popular?
Well, I'm going to guess considering people were the way they were back then, it probably was.
It was only second only to the Bible in popularity.
Oh, yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
Jesus says to love thy neighbor. This says to accuse them of witchcraft and kill them.
And kill them and give them no choice.
Those track.
Intertwined very well.
It led to a period in history known as the Burning Times. That sounds fun. Between the 15th and 17th centuries, where thousands were burned or hung in squares all over Europe, 85% of which were women.
Again, let's be shocked.
Yeah, we'll get into that more in a different podcast.
Oh yeah, that's a whole episode in itself.
That's heavy. So the Inquisitor would travel around from town to town and try to figure out who the witches were. Sniff them out. The people were desperate to try to figure out how to identify witches so they could make sure to do the opposite. Like, could you imagine if something like that was happening today?
Oh God, no.
We would be like, all right, tell me everything you know and you think.
So I can be the exact opposite of all of that and stay off of radar for people.
So obviously, it dominated conversation, and that left a lot of room for stories to grow. You know, like that game, Banana Telephone, something?
Yes.
What is it?
It's telephone, where
Is
you
it
like
telephone?
whisper in somebody's ear and then it goes
Banana?
down. I don't know where the hell banana came from, but we'll go with it. Anyways, though, you talk in somebody's ear and it moves down the line. We get to the last person. You have to say what the first person said, but like usually the message is completely.
It's always
not at all what the first person said at all.
So that's basically what was happening here. Everyone is obsessed with this topic. They're terrified. They're talking to all their friends.
I mean, how couldn't you be? You literally step outside and not know if you're going to ever go home or not, just because you look different.
And that's probably how we got from, oh, there's a statue that turns into a black cat and then you kiss it on the ass. And then that just turned into, oh, black cats in general are bad, such as humans.
Yes.
Yes.
Very good example, yes.
Well, you got to think, like, during COVID. Remember how batshit crazy things got during
God,
COVID?
the world was freaking ending. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's like, if you drink your own urine, you will be spared.
Yeah.
And we're like, what?
Whoa. Out of left field. Yeah.
And that was with the internet.
I mean, that's a very good, like, comparison.
Yeah, it was
COVID.
basically the same thing. Like, we had this massive panic, but with way less information.
Like, I think that's the biggest thing that, like, is our downfall today as humans is we will see things happening, like, literally just that war and stuff going on. Like, we see it happening, and we're like, yeah, but it'll never happen to us. Like, we're fine.
Yeah.
We just assume that nothing bad could ever possibly happen to us. Which is, I'm sure, what these people thought, too, at the beginning. But, like,
oh, well, I'm not doing witchery, so I'll be
I'm
okay.
fine. It'll never happen to me. Yeah, well.
Oh, but you have a really funny wart on your face.
Yeah,
so
sorry, Susie.
We're going to bring you in anyway.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, we love it.
So like I said, we're going to get more in-depth about the witch trials and all the heavy stuff. But I just wanted to bring that up because that brings us to witches' warts and why that's a thing. It all came from these delightful humans, these inquisitors and the Malleus Maleficarum. Women suspected of witchcraft would be stripped and searched for the devil's mark. You want to hazard a guess as to what a devil's mark is?
I'm going to guess it's a freaking birthmark or it's a mole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they thought that was a ruse. That's not what it really was. It was undercover. It was really a nipple.
Well, then, like, everybody I know would be dead because everybody I know has a birthmark.
It was a teat for your familiar, who was a minion of Satan to suckle from. All horrible words. I don't think any of those words. Oh, like moist.
Yeah.
Moist. Just, blah. Doesn't it make you feel weird?
It just makes you, let's not talk about it. No.
So anyway, any mole or wart or birthmark was a little odd. They were like, I don't like the way that looks. They would poke it with a long needle. And if the woman did not feel it, it was believed to be a teat. So yeah, these were the logical leaps we were making.
Doesn't it just make you feel all warm and cozy
inside?
Wait,
you're about to feel cozier.
Oh,
it gets better.
Great.
By better, I mean way worse.
That's usually how it goes.
notorious witch hunter named Matthew Hopkins invented a retractable pin. He was doing the deceits. So he had this pin, and then he was like, look, everybody, it's a pin. I'm going to stab this wart, and you shall see. And then he'd push like a little button or a lever or
and
something.
it would retract. So they wouldn't even. So they were killing people that like.
Yep.
Oh my god!
Like I said, that monetary reward.
I don't. Yeah.
It was a good living.
Yeah.
You could make a good bit of money, so people started inventing insidious
I mean, it's
ways.
smart. Like it is. It's very smart, but like it's like, wow, that's messed up.
Maybe not be a raging asshole about it.
Yeah.
Put that effort into something more productive, please.
Mm-hmm. But he got paid, so.
Yeah. So that pin would come in, and then he'd be like, oh, see, she didn't steal it. She's a witch. And then everyone would be satisfied, and he would get paid.
We were just way too smart for our own good.
If only we could have been smart in the parts that mattered.
I mean, that would have been cool. Probably would have saved a bunch of lives.
Right. Once they found the devil's mark, it was time to force a confession, because it was illegal to prosecute a witch without a confession. So, how'd they get these confessions? What do you think?
I promise they didn't sit down and have lunch with him.
Excuse me, darling.
Let's talk about something.
Let's have a discussion, sweetie.
Yeah, no.
No, it was torture. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, listen. The Mallee smell of Facarum. Cranking out bangers. You ready for this one?
Oh, God.
It's stated that if you feel compassion for a witch during an interrogation, it's not your humanity. It's not just regular emotions. No, not at all.
No.
She's casting a spell on you.
Makes sense.
Make it make sense.
Make it. That's a good, yeah. Let's make that make sense.
The math ain't mathin'.
No.
So yeah, if you feel any compassion towards this woman you're brutally torturing, ignore that.
It's her casting a spell on you.
Yes.
It's not your like good heart telling you like, hey, this probably isn't the best idea, or like her looking at you, making you feel compassion and feel bad because you're torturing her. No. Why would that make sense?
No, it's a spell. Shut
it's
that
always
shit
something,
down.
yeah. Shut that shit down.
Oh God. A lot of lives hung in the balance of that kind of logic. Anyway, pointy hats. Get straight away on to the next one. I'm done. Pointy hats. What's up with those? There are multiple different stories behind the pointy hat. I don't know which one is the real reason. It's probably a little bit of all of them.
It usually is.
That's usually how history works. People, like I said, they just weave stuff together.
Yes.
So I'm going to tell you all of them. Pointy hats, or conical hats, were pretty popular in fashion for a while, worn by European upper class in the Middle Ages. You ever seen the princesses in the storybooks, and they've got that?
Yeah, they would have the hat, and they have like the train that comes off of them.
Mhm.
Yes,
That's what they're talking about. That's when they really came into fashion, and it was worn by the rich, fancy people. That's when they first came into fashion, but it didn't have the brim yet. It was just the weird,
tone.
like dunce cap
Yeah.
kind of thing. By the 13th century AD, the pointy hat was adopted by the common folk in the country. We were like, I like that hat.
Yeah,
That's
we
a
need
nice
that.
hat.
We need that.
So they took it, and they added the wide brim because, country people actually go outside and do things.
Yeah, no, we don't just.
They actually have to work.
They didn't just actually sit there and.
No, one day my prince will
Yeah.
come. No. So they're like, we're going to add a brim because this sun is not nice.
Beaten
We
down.
don't like it.
Yeah.
Now, at this time, commoners in the country followed older spiritual traditions, much like we were talking about earlier, which made them the weird people in town. So the people in towns would be like, oh my God, the hillbillies are here. I say hillbillies with love.
So much love. You don't understand where we live. It's no.
So, out in the country, you have to learn how to take care of yourself, right?
I mean, yeah, you don't get everything. You can't just sit there and wait for
Yes.
your maid or whoever it is coming in. I mean, it's not how it works. It's not it.
So even though they were weird, they knew what they were doing. So people were like, oh God, the hillbillies are over there, but I'm sick and I really need something. we're going to have to call them.
Mhm.
Because they knew a lot about herbalism. They knew a lot about practical medicine. So whenever the people in the town couldn't get to a doctor,
They called the hillbillies.
they'd call up the hillbillies and they'd be like, I'm coming right over with all your stuff. Because they knew how to get shit done. But much like today, with all the great knowledge and remedies passed down, also come a lot of superstitions and old wives' tales.
And then there it is.
There it is. This is where it gets weird.
Always.
These people from the country would show up. They'd give you some tonic, some tincture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd probably do a little bit of magic as well. Imagine you're sick, and this person from the woods wearing a tall, pointy hat shows up to your house. And it works because they actually understood medicine and they knew what they were talking about. But after they give it to you, they go, now drink this under the full moon. Under the full moon facing east, and throw salt over your left shoulder and spit on the grave of your enemy.
Okay.
And people were like, what
is this? I just had a sore throat, but okay. Like,
thanks for the garlic paste, but what?
okay.
So they respected them, and they're like, thank you for this medicine, but also, you're freaky. I don't like
You're
it.
a little weird, a little off.
And that made a lot of other tales spin around these people who wore the pointy hats. Then word of mouth starts. People start gossiping, and the stories start spinning,
Mm-hmm.
which still happens today. Another possible reason we associate pointy hats with witches and also cauldrons. Cauldrons gets pulled into this one. Okay. I'm getting in character again. Ready?
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared.
Imagine you're walking through the crowded cobblestone streets on market day. It's cold, busy. Maybe you're having a bad day, and then the smell hits you. Gotta breathe it in. A magical smell that lights up your brain with dopamine. The smell of beer.
There it is.
Suddenly, you have a hankering. You have to get some of that delicious feel-good juice to drink later while watching, I don't know, a stickball game, whatever
Whatever they watched back then.
whatever they did back then. So anyway, like, oh, I need that beer.
Yes.
Sounds so refreshing and delicious. But where's the smell coming from? It's so crowded. I can't tell. And just as you are about to lose all hope, you spot it. The tall, pointy hat.
There's the beer. There's the beer.
Found it. It was like a beacon in the night. The tall, pointy hat of the beer brewers. You are then able to make your way over to these talented ladies. Yes, ladies. Most beer brewers in days gone by were women. We had a corner on the market. I couldn't think of the word.
We were in there.
Beer or ale was a household staple for most families in Europe, and it helped us preserve grains from harvest, and it was an important source of nutrients and carbohydrates because people were like starving all the time.
Yeah.
At this time, like if you let your wheat go to waste, you could die. So they're like, we'll put it in beer and it'll be great. And people fell in love with it because alcohol is great.
It's an amazing thing.
Since it was part of their everyday diets, fermenting beer was one of the normal tasks that women would do to keep the household running.
Mm-hmm.
So they'd do the dishes, bake the casserole, brew the beer. It was just a normal, everyday thing that women did.
Yeah.
And many women saw this as an opportunity and decided to take this skill to the market. Especially women who were like single or older and their husband was dead. Oh yeah.
I 1000% would have. Can you imagine?
Everyone's like, Rhonda, which is not a medieval name, but whatever.
We're using it.
Listen, Rhonda, your beer is delicious. I simply must have the recipe. She's like, no, you can buy it at the market, just like everybody else.
Yeah. I would have done that. I would have made beer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And
fun.
As a woman back then, if you were single or widowed, like it was a roll of the dice whether you were going to live or not, because you needed that head of household and that man to do anything. And this was a really good outlet for women to have something that was theirs that they could do and do well.
100%. Times weren't exactly easy back then.
No, not at all. So women took this craft seriously. They were
As we do most things.
Yeah, right? And they dominated. Absolutely dominated. Because, like you said, most women care more about quality and doing things the right way and being patient. So we created superior beer. But no, that can't possibly be why.
No.
Women were doing better in the beer market. That can't be it.
No. There's always something more.
We're evil.
Terrible.
We're using witchcraft.
Why can't they let us have anything?
Nothing. Not
Like
a single
nothing.
thing.
Nothing.
Mm-mm.
Can't even have beer.
Nope. Sir, can I just brew my beer, please,
No.
so I can feed my family?
No.
It's mine.
Oh my goodness. Like anytime we had something going for us, they were just like, yeah, no, not anymore, sorry.
That's cute that you thought you
You
could
thought
do that.
you could.
Mm-hmm. Like women who were brewing beers, they'd be standing in front of large cauldrons because that's what they transported the beer in.
Mm-hmm.
Come smell this magical smell. Let me cast my spell of inebriation onto you. And they'd be stirring it with large wooden spoons, wearing a tall, pointy hat so the potential customers could see them over the crowd. A sight that obviously stuck with a lot of people because we still see that.
Yes.
A witch with her pointy hat just be like,
Stirring a cauldron.
what am I
And all the
stirring up today?"
movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is where a lot of historians believe that came from. But some women had their own shops and they brewed and like sold it in bottles.
Mm-hmm.
So they would always have a cat that lived in the shop because when you're working with beer, you're gonna have wheat, which is messy. So then it'd be all over the floor. And another thing, they always had a broom
To sweep up the
to
wheat.
sweep up the wheat.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this woman wearing a pointy hat, sweeping all the time.
Has to be witchcraft. Has to be witchcraft.
And she has a cat to keep the rats away from the grain. But
Has to be witchcraft.
witchcraft.
She couldn't just possibly be making something and using a broom to sweep it up and she has a cat there.
No,
That could never be it. There's a bigger meaning behind it all.
these can't be sound, rational
No.
decisions.
No.
She's
There's
like,
always a greater
with
meaning.
a lady brain, are you
Oh,
insane?
God.
They can't make rational
I
decisions.
can't.
Another thing that really linked witches to cauldrons was Macbeth. Have you ever read Shakespeare, Macbeth?
Mm-hmm.
Then double, double, toil and trouble, fire burning, cauldron bubble, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So people, you gotta think, people back then, they didn't like have TV. They barely read books. Most of them were illiterate. So their only art was going to the theater. So imagine these people go in and there's like witches and they're like, and they're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like in the 70s when people would go see The Exorcist and people were fainting. And now we watch it today and we're like,
This isn't even.
this is boring. I almost fell asleep. But back then, I'm sure that's what they felt like going to see Macbeth. Like, oh, this witches was scary.
Well, because all it did was like instill fear into these people that was never necessary to have.
It absolutely did not.
Whatever. It's cool.
Interesting. Did not help the situation whatsoever.
No. Just made it 10 times worse.
Yeah. But it still helped people like associate.
Can you imagine some of these women that probably were making this beer and stuff and everything? They probably went to go like see this and they're like, hold the hell up. What the hell going on? This is not it. I am not a witch. I was making beer. I have a pet cat and I was sweeping up wheat off the floor for dear God.
She just wants to go have a nice night at the theater.
Yeah.
And then she's like, you son of a bitch.
Pretty much. Where is this coming from? You trying to say something? Oh,
Excuse me, Anthony, we have to leave.
Yeah,
right now.
she's like, we gotta go. They're gonna start burning us.
They're gonna tie me to a stake any minute.
Man. We gotta go.
Also, toads are referenced in Macbeth, which also helped bring the toad into like popular culture surrounding witches, because a lot of toads are poisonous and they have, secretions.
So they were able to definitely.
Yeah, so they're taking the toads and they're making the poison. And the other thing, listen, this is a theory. Totally a theory. I have no proof of this.
No, but we're for theories.
Listen, so women, the way they murder their husbands, 99% of the time, poison.
Oh, yeah.
How much you want to bet that led to a lot of the witch hysteria? Men being terrified of women being able to poison them and having knowledge of herbs.
Oh, yeah, because they would never know. They never would have known.
So they were like, let's just outlaw all of it?
Yeah, no. I don't think that's an out of the world, like.
Because I don't want to stop being a dick to my wife. That sounds like a bad time.
Yeah. But she has the possibility of poisoning me, never knowing.
But she might kill me for it. So instead of just being a nicer person,
just kill them all.
I'm just going to kill her.
Kill them all.
Or make the practice of this completely illegal so she can't even think about learning how to poison me.
Yeah, no, it really wouldn't shock me. That I'd never actually like sat and thought about that though.
Yeah, when I was doing this, I was like, holy shit.
That's a very good possibility.
Yeah. Be like, okay, if
That's
they
the
learn,
thing. There's, like I said, they were scared of something they didn't know. Like
Mhm.
women knew, like I said, like the healers and stuff like that. Like they knew how to do that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
that scared people because a lot of people didn't know, and they were like, well, "What are they actually like?" It just led to hysteria and freaking.
but if they know how to do good stuff, they'll also know how to murder. So let's just take it all away, the good and everything.
I mean, like,
because I'm scared.
Yeah, I mean that's where our downfall was.
Yeah.
But
Another thing that once again didn't read this. This is just my, thinking
this
about it.
is her brain just
Okay,
firing some stuff
did you
off.
know that you can use a toad as a drug,
No.
like a hallucinogenic?
Yes, I have heard that before.
You can just lick a
Yes.
frog and go on and trip balls.
Complete yes. I've heard that before.
I was Googling this earlier, and there's like rehab centers now for toad venom.
People were actually addicted to this stuff?
Yeah.
So they just go outside and lick toads? I need to get high.
I'm sure today you actually like buy it.
Well, I mean, no offense, but if like you really wanted to skip past the market and past all the money that goes into it, find a toad, lick its back.
Don't
Go
do
for
that.
a ride. Don't actually. Don't actually.
You might die.
Yeah, don't actually.
I don't know how to identify the right kind of frog.
No, don't actually, but apparently that's insane to me.
But could you imagine if you lived back then, and I don't know why you were licking frogs, but you licked a frog, and then you went on a trip?
Tripping.
You would believe in magic.
Yeah.
So that became closely associated with witches and with magic.
That's insane.
Yup.
And the fact that you said there's rehab centers
Yeah,
for that.
We'll
Wow.
do anything, man.
Okay.
Back to the beer thing.
Okay.
we went on a journey.
Whoops.
We're back. We're back
Okay.
with the beer. Just as women were starting to dominate the beer business, the Reformation began, which is a fundamentalist religious movement that preached stricter gender norms and condemned witchcraft. Just as we were getting somewhere. Yeah.
Scoot it back now.
Nope. These religious people came out and they were like, absolutely not.
No.
We don't like any of this.
Well, no offense, but Shakespeare probably didn't help that too much.
Thanks a lot, William.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
It's William Shakespeare's fault for the witches.
Yes.
I can't say that for sure. Don't cancel me. I'm just joking. The male brewers saw the Reformation happening and saw what they were preaching. They're like, women need to get back in the kitchen. Witchcraft is of the devil.
Mm-hmm.
And these male brewers, who were their competition and who were failing miserably, saw an opportunity. They were like, oh, I can take out the competition.
Sounds like witchcraft.
Yes. You know what? That I think I saw her lick a toad.
That makes sense.
I think her cat, she definitely kissed her cat.
Like
on the anus.
I can't imagine these poor women. Like they're literally just trying to make a living for them and their family. And it went from them like making beer and everyone's like, oh, this is awesome, to go and seeing a play. And it's like, I definitely think they're trying to hit at something, to now, oh my God, I'm a witch.
Yeah.
She's just trying to make beer.
Yeah, just because you got a little too successful.
Mm-hmm.
And some dude was like, starting a rumor.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Or she looked a toad.
She's a witch. Yeah. They started rumors that they were brewing magic potions in their cauldrons. Once again, the poison fear that I think really comes into this. So these guys were like, a woman running a business, having their own money, sounds like witchcraft to me.
Basically.
I don't think that's a thing. That's not possible.
No. I love the way that these minds just somehow
just run wild. So the rumor took hold, and as you can imagine, it soon became dangerous for women to brew and sell beer. They had to just stop. They had to give up this thing that they
weren't
loved.
really left an
good at.
option. Yeah, they weren't left an option.
They would just get harassed or convicted of witchcraft and then put to death. So kind of have no choice. So this is from the Smithsonian Magazine.
Okay.
I'm going to read an excerpt. Some men didn't really believe that women brewers were witches. However, many did believe that women shouldn't be spending their time making beer. Ulterior motives. The process took a lot of time and dedication, and if women couldn't brew ale, they would have a lot more time at home to raise their children.
And there it is.
And care for their husbands.
And there it is.
Yeah. Look at the crux of everything.
So basically, a lot of men felt the way that, no, they're probably not witches. However, they shouldn't be making beer. They should be at home with the kids. So I guess they'll learn their lesson the hard way.
Yeah, I don't want to have to feed myself.
Yeah, no.
What? Get back in the kitchen, lady. In the 1500s, listen to this. In the 1500s, some towns, such as Chester, England, actually made it illegal for women to sell beer. Worried that their women would grow up to become old spinsters. If you are not forced to tie yourself to a man to survive, you may never get married. We can't have that.
Oh, God.
So we got to take away all your options.
Basically, to force you in the direction of what we want you to go in.
Yeah. So one more link in the history between the witch and the pointy hat, we're back to the pointy hat, is the Quakers, of all people. Like oatmeal guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Quakers are the religious group, not just the oatmeal. You guys are way more than that. Getting my Quaker points in. And in the 17th century, the tall, cone-shaped black hats were pretty common fashion at the time, like the pilgrims and stuff. You've all seen it. And they were at the peak of their popularity around the same time the Quakers started becoming shakers.
I love you. I do. You crack me up, man.
I knew that would get it.
Yeah, well, yes.
And what I mean is they started shaking things up with their radical beliefs. Insane, downright apocalyptical ideas. Like equality for women.
Never.
Nay!
Oh my goodness, no.
They let their women speak in church. They let them preach. World's going to crap, guys. Yeah, I know. We need to cast these devils out of our midst. And that's how they felt. Egad, women speaking in public. So, then the image of a woman in a black cone-shaped hat daring to speak to men in public as equals left many quite in a tizzy.
I wonder why.
And they, obviously, that's a witch. Since they were very tolerant and outspoken about this, it made Quaker women the target of a lot of witch allegations. So not only were they out here speaking, the men were like, yeah, it's cool. She's smart. I like her. And they're like, oh, she's cast a spell on you, sir. Snap out of it.
Yeah.
You can't like a woman.
No. How? Why? No. There's an explanation for everything. I mean.
Nope. They became the target of a lot of witch accusations. And then that's another thing that kind of, that image stuck with a lot of people. She's a witch. Are you ready for the most unhinged?
We haven't hit that yet.
No. There's more. But wait, there's more.
There's more.
Okay. Pointy shoes.
Oh, God.
You know how witches, they have like the pointy shoes that are kind of curled up, right?
Yes.
Okay. All the rage in Europe between the 14th and the 16th centuries.
Were pointy shoes?
However, yes. However, caused a bit of a ruckus because the Catholic Church took one look at those pointy shoes and said, that kind of looks like a wiener.
And that's the end of the pointy shoes era.
Are you aware, sir, that your shoe looks like a dick?
Yeah. You should probably take those off.
It's just flopping around.
It's a shoe. It looks like a penis, so I'm going to need you to remove those.
Yes, that is perverse, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway.
They would hate to see how we dress nowadays, but
right. So, since they're little floppy wieners flopping around, they believe them to be contributing directly to people's sexual proclivities. So, like, you looked at that shoe and you said, that looks sexy. And that's why people are doing the sexy time.
I look at a shoe. I'm literally picturing the shoe in my head, and I'm like, that doesn't even look like a penis. I don't understand where that came from.
I read something else about this before. It got so bad, people had to tie, like, string to the end of the toe of the shoe and then tie it to them because they got so outlandish. They were like 3-4 feet long. Yeah, people got, just like with fashion today, they got crazy.
Carried away with it a little bit.
They also made it harder for people to kneel at church, which maybe they'll pray less because they're dick shoes.
And they're not able to kneel?
Yeah, not able to kneel. But this earned them the nickname Satan's Claws by priests because they were extra.
I'm so
So they're Satan's claws, but they're also penises. But they're
Why?
all because it's a pointy shoe. These men had way too much time on their hands.
Apparently.
Too much.
Like, can you imagine? Hey, did you see her shoes? Those are definitely penises on her feet, right? Like,
Yeah.
are we in consensus here? I saw you looking at that shoe. I know what you were thinking.
Let's be it, Jezebel.
Oh gosh.
So there isn't an exact point where the shoes became linked with witches.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that historians have been like, okay, the Catholic Church really didn't like these, and then that kind of somewhere down the line
Somehow
kind
fell
of
in line with
merged
witches.
in there somewhere.
Got it.
But I guess, people just assumed if you're gonna wear shoes to an orgy in the woods, you're probably gonna pick your dick shoes.
You're gonna pick the penis shoes.
You're gonna pick the ones that look, because it's festive, right? Goes with theme.
Goes with the decor.
Yeah.
Makes sense, right? I mean, I don't.
Humans. How would they get to their forest orgy? With Satan in their penis shoes? How? On their flying broomsticks.
Oh my
of
gosh.
course.
Duh. Right after they lick the toads. Knew it.
Shoes.
Get on the broom. Take off. I'm coming. I'll be about 10 minutes late. Oh, gosh.
Thank God TV was invented to keep us from thinking too much.
Can you imagine, like, if this was still, like, the thought process today?
Mm-hmm. So you'll remember that women were the primary beer purveyors, right?
Yes.
And they did the whole broom sweepy thing.
Yes.
That wasn't the only thing that got women associated with brooms. There was another custom in some parts of Europe where women would leave brooms outside their doors or in their chimney. Not sure why in the chimney, how you would even see that. But anyway, you'd leave it outside their door or in the chimney to signal whether they were home or not. So if the broom was on the porch, you're like, oh, they're home. I can come in and hang out. If it was gone, if they put it in their chimney, it meant they were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And this led people to kind of weave this legend that witches left their houses on their brooms, which is kind of cute.
I was just about to say, but like,
not bad.
Yeah, that one's really not that bad. And honestly, like, I can see where we came up with the story of that from. Like, I don't know, it kind of makes sense.
That one's kind of cute. Yeah. I don't mind that one.
No.
That's the least harmful one we've discussed.
Oh, dear God, yes. Yes.
So back to the Inquisition. A couple of the people, who were being tortured.
Yeah.
So they were trying to think of anything, like, how can I make this stop? What's a thing I heard one time that I can tell this psychopath?
Which, I mean, imagine being in that position. Yeah. You're literally going to be grasping for straws at that point, trying to figure, that your life is on the line. And if you don't figure out something.
Yeah, so these people, there's a lot of things that got brought into the witch realm because of these confessions. Mm-hmm. But it was just people, they're being tortured. And they're just saying whatever they can
to live.
To make it stop. Yeah. And they're just pulling at whatever folklore they heard as a kid, whatever superstitions they heard, maybe like a campfire story, whatever. They're like, there's a cat sucking on her wart, and then she flew on a broom in her penis shoes.
Yes. Basically trying to pull at anything.
So,
but you can't blame them, because again, if you were in that position, and if I was in that position, and absolutely. Like, I know my fate. Oh, I'm pulling.
I would write a novel.
I would too. I would figure something out to say, to try to
paint a picture.
Yes.
Make it entertaining.
Make them happy.
Please let me go. These people would pull out these insane stories, and the Inquisitors would be like, see, I told you. Mm-hmm. I told you that was true. They rode on brooms. Yes. When it's like, no, bro, you're torturing them. This isn't reliable. But no, they're just like, I'm right, you're wrong. I don't care about anything else. So how did witches go from the worst thing you could possibly be accused of? Like, you will literally be put to death. No one wanted to be seen as a witch or thought of as a witch because you could die,
now.
And how did it turn to a fun Halloween costume?
Yeah.
Like, we've done a complete 180, and I'm happy for it. I love the vibe. It's great.
It's awesome. It's just, if we really look back at history, it went from goddesses to terrible people that need to be burned to, oh my gosh, a fun Halloween costume. My daughter's going as a witch. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, what?
We've come a long way.
It's fine. I mean, we're here now, but it took a while to get here.
So after the hysteria of the witch trials, a new school of thought started to take over. And this is where the shift happened. We know this as the Age of Enlightenment, which is actually heavily responsible for the American Revolution. Look at that. We went from witches to America. From about 1685 to 1815, many people started to have open discussions about religion and politics and science. You know, they were going to their friends and being like, hey, we're not going to get put to death for this anymore. What do you really think?
Yeah.
And then people actually started saying what they
Feeling
feel.
like they could talk.
Yeah, great. And that led many to favor reason and scientific fact over superstition and tradition. And look how far we've come in just a few hundred
And
years.
just imagine if we would have just
done it sooner.
Yeah. There probably wouldn't have been as many people that died.
Maybe. Look how that works.
Yeah.
And it took a while, but eventually, modern outlook made people more comfortable with exploring different schools of thought, you know, since they were no longer going to get murdered for it. And one of the avenues that many took an interest in is spiritualism.
Imagine
Did
that.
you learn about spiritualism?
Would you imagine
the second they opened the gate and said, you're allowed to think about this. We
full force. We were out the gate ready to go.
Spooky.
Yes, pretty much. Now that we're not going to get killed for this, let's really talk about how we feel about this subject real quick. Yeah.
A movement that started with the Fox sisters in 1848, which we will do another podcast on because that
whole thing separately by itself.
That's wild time.
Yes.
Spiritualism and the fascination with seances and communing with the spirit realm quickly led to a fascination with the occult, which made it more socially acceptable and even fashionable to dabble in the spooky side of life. Also, a book. Margaret Murray wrote a book called The Witch Cult in Western Europe, which was published in 1921.
Mm-hmm.
And she theorized that witchcraft had not been an obscure cult, but a dominant religious force. So like the goddess cults and all this stuff. Like, listen, it was something that was pretty chill, pretty great. And then people came in and they scrambled it all up. And that's not what it was.
Basically, Margaret Murray came in and said, listen, you need to look all the way back in history and understand this is not how things have always been.
Mm-hmm.
There's a deeper meaning behind all of this. Yes.
And it changed a lot of people's perspectives on witchcraft, just the one. Witches historically, and actually I believe sparked the formation of Wicca, like the religion.
Yeah
People were like, okay, maybe this isn't all bad, maybe there's some stuff we can go back here and resurrect.
There are some things that benefit people.
Exactly. Maybe there was something good in all this.
Maybe they were onto something.
Yeah.
Call me crazy.
So you mix the newfound acceptance of the macabre in society with the old legends and the tall tales brewed up before, and see what I did there.
I did.
Sorry. Anyway, tall tales brewed up before and during the Inquisition, and you get the modern caricature of the witch. So it's a little bit crazy, awful, horrible times, a little bit cool, awesome folk tales and religious ideals, and a bunch of peopling. And you mash it all together, and then yeah. Also, green skin on a witch. I read this too. The first time it was ever like a thing was in The Wizard of Oz, because it showed up better on the black and white film.
So that's where the green came from. It has nothing to do with any. I've always wondered that. I was actually thinking that when you're talking about that. I was thinking to myself, like picturing like a modern day witch, and like you think of a witch, you think of warts, which we see now. Why that came from? You think of the pointy hats, which we see, broom, cauldron, the shoes. But I always like wondered, like, where's the green coming from?
It was from The Wizard of Oz, because the first half is in black and white, and the other half is in color.
She showed up better with the green.
So she showed up better with the green, and I think probably because it was the first real big movie that used Technicolor. So they were like,
way to go, Wizard of Oz.
This looks really cool, and she can stand out, and it was a really bold, colorful movie. So yeah, that's where the green skin. Neat. Yeah, that wasn't really a thing before that.
Okay.
There's like, this color looks spoopy.
Yeah.
And it shows up good. Indeed, a fun fact.
Yes.
Now, I want to add a little bit of a caveat here at the end. This episode is about the character of the witch. So like the caricature, what we see at Halloween on decorations and stuff. Yes. Where that came from. The Halloween version, not the spiritual practice, because we don't know anything about that. We don't have the knowledge or the expertise to. If you are a witch, like a practicing witch, don't come for us. We're just
No.
we're just
Props
giving you the
to
history.
You keep doing what you're doing.
I think you're doing some cool shit.
Yeah.
I'm sure the present day religion and the history have a lot of overlap, but that's an entirely different subject. So anyway, that is it. What do you think?
I mean, like I said, I just don't. Wow.
Just take a second.
Just take it in for a second.
That was a lot.
It's just insane to me. It is, but it's not, because even if you look, I mean, it's not just witches. There's a bunch of things that have happened in history.
Yeah, we had werewolf trials.
Yeah.
We had vampire things. Like, we've copy and pasted this for a bunch of shit. Yeah.
It's just insane to me. I guess like I said, the biggest thing that just really gets me is not ever learning about any of this stuff in school.
Oh, yeah.
And like, personally, I understand. I'm not dumb. I know why it's all talked about in school. Let's just be honest here. But personally, I think it would benefit from it being talked about, because like I said, until, here recently, when me and you started looking at this stuff, I had no idea that it was like, when you think of witches, and because of how schools are, it's taught, you instantly think of bad. You think of, the terrible, the devil,
The villain.
Yes, just terrible. And you've never, unless you really look into it, that's not what they represented at all at one point
They used
in time.
to be the caretaker.
That people worshipped and were beautiful and helped people in need because they wanted to be there. And it's just, and then kings would literally have to have a witch on his staff, or he would not be able to function. And then it went from that to kill them all. Just kill them all. They think differently. They feel differently. They look differently. Kill them all.
Yep. And it also, I think learning about this stuff younger really helps you understand that it's humans.
Yes.
It's always just humans.
Yes.
Every time we think there's something supernatural, every time we think there's some like horrible villain out there, boogeyman to get us, it always comes down to just human nature. Because like I said, we take this and we copy paste it and we just put it onto whatever thing we're scared of at the moment, the satanic panic, even COVID and shit. Like, it's all the same human tendencies, and you just
take it and run
slap
with
it onto whatever is making you scared at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's the world we live in today.
Maybe one day we'll learn. I doubt it.
Probably not. Probably not. It's wishful thinking, Britt. Probably not.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Yes.
If you liked. Don't like if you didn't like.
But please like and subscribe if you liked.
Please. We're starting out. We're trying.
We're doing it.
We're trying really hard. Okay, anyway, this has been History is a Horror Show.
It's been fun.
Now you won't be able to look at a witch without having a bunch of intrusive thoughts.
You're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome for that. Take the tears back.
Suck them in. Oh, we're going to edit that out. Go ahead, next. It's going to be so many bloopers. It's fine. Ah, shit, my phone's up there. I'm so Okay, it's okay. Come here. Okay. Oh, God, that was horrible. I cry when I laugh, and it's a problem.
Oh, so do I.
Why I have this.
That was horrible.
I'm so sorry about that. And then I spit it on myself. Oh, stop. No!
And now she broke it.
It just, there we go.